Welcome to another episode, everyone. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not done so. Indeed, Wack100 called me last night after viewing my video. He called with Alshon Martin. Actually, Alshon Martin called just like they did last time, a couple of months ago or so. And Alshon called and said, Wack wanted to holler at you. I said, okay, it's all good. Put him through. And we began to talk some. We talked for some time yesterday, all three of us on the phone. They had some things to say about Gumby based on the video that, I played for you all yesterday where Gumby had called me out, etc. But he was saying a lot about Wack100 in that video was Gumby, as well as Big U and all sorts of stuff, which we're about to just get into. Why not? And he was saying that Wack100 paid Daryl Morey or Morrison or whatever the hell his name was, who was an FBI informant, to tell on Big U. So Wack essentially wanted to defend himself against these allegations. You know Wack 100, if I'm being honest, he also went on to have some things to say about a few people, Brick Baby, Big U, and others. And he even sent some paperwork. He defended himself against, the allegations with Freeway Rick when he had accused Freeway Rick of snitching, and I had covered that. And he went on into some detail about that. But I'm not going to get into all that. I'm certainly not going to get into any paperwork and all that. It's not my thing. It's not my business. I'll let Wack deal with all of that. Nevertheless, let's get into, again, real quick and break this down a little bit. What Gumby had to say in that phone call. It's not about what he had to say about me anymore, but again, Wack called in because he wanted to defend himself against these allegations that he paid this individual who's an FBI informant. And many people have asked the question, if Gumby, you knew that he was a confidential informant, why were you dealing with him? You have phone calls with him, according to you. Why were you dealing with him? People wanted to know in the comments. I'd like to know as well. And why were you ready to hit a lick, rob a dispensary with the individual that is an informant? Of course, apparently you didn't know at the time that he was an informant, but still, Gumby said himself in this phone call that he was about to rob the dispensary himself. I don't even like repeating this stuff, but he said it on his own channel. He put it out there. He's on a recorded line, a recorded phone call. All jail phone calls are recorded. Gumby knows this. He's done enough time to know this. The man did 18 years in prison. And yet, he gets on the phone and says that Big U is the one that hit the dispensary. He's the one that robbed the dispensary. And that God protected him because he was the one that was going to do it. He said he had rounded up the young homies, had rounded up the crew to go pull off this lick. See? You see what you individuals, you young dudes, or some of these dudes probably old as him, probably are as old as Gumby, that he was rounding up. Or you individuals are under the influence of a complete fool. About to have all of y'all in prison doing 18 years like he did, or 80 years. He rounding y'all up to go and hit a lick with an FBI informant. He doesn't know that this dude is informant. Y'all don't know either. You just following him. This is why I don't follow anyone. I'm the leader. In all of my situations always have been. You better get with the program. these individuals will have you stuck under the jailhouse. So Wack wanted to defend himself against the allegations. And I gave him an opportunity to do that. He said that he watches my channel, etc. We got into a couple of conversations, as I said, and outshine as well. And, naturally anyone, regardless of, wants to defend himself against allegations, because Gumby's in here saying that Wack100 paid this individual. And then, the question remains for me, as I said in my video yesterday, why are you saying this stuff now, Gumby? If you knew this, why didn't you say it then? When you were free, when you were out. Every time someone falls out with Wack, they want to then expose him. But y'all was just cool with him. If not hanging out with him, you were at least cool with him. If not defending him, you were at least cool with him. Until he did something that drew the ire of you, until he stabbed you in the back or turned on you or said something that you didn't like or whatever. And then you want to expose him. Now you got phone conversations and all this. You have proof. You have receipts that he's an informant, that he's working with an informant, that he paid an informant to have Big U locked up. Yet you are on a recorded call, is Hoover Gumby, in the jailhouse where you've been plenty of times and you know the rules, talking about I was going to hit a lick. First of all, you snitching on yourself. You putting a case on yourself, potentially, for conspiracy. Secondly, Big U, to my knowledge, correct me in the comments if I am wrong, because I'm not perfect, has not been convicted of anything yet. Anything that he's been charged with. As of yet, he has not been convicted. Don't know what's going to happen with the situation. He's fighting his cases right now. Fighting the RICO. This stuff takes time, as we can see. This is federal indictment. It's not going to be an overnight thing. They're trying to stick it to them. They want to make sure they have all of their ducks in a row, does the government. So they're going to take their time with this. But I don't think that some of this rhetoric on the internet is helping Big U's situation whatsoever. I do know that Big U had just filed a motion to have everyone that is snitching on him exposed. He filed a motion with the court saying that he wants all of the witnesses against him revealed. We'll see what happens with that. But to get on the phone and say that I was going to rob a dispensary, a weed dispensary, I was about to round up the homies, and you're on a recorded phone call with police listening to it in jail, and say, but instead, Big U did it. He robbed the store instead. And now look at him, he in jail, man. So basically God, he said God protected me. He said God protects fools and babies. I was about to rob the store, rounded up the homies to do it, but instead Big U did it. And now look at him. Well, okay, then look at you. Both of y'all locked up, bro. That's why you mad at everybody and mad at the world. Now, I was going to come out and viciously attack Hoover Gumby for his phone call and expose all sorts of other stuff. I haven't got to that point yet. Don't push me. I don't want to be going back and forth on the internet and have no internet beef. I said what I had to say already. He said what he said. I responded to that. I'm not going to be going back and forth and making content out of this every day, especially now because he's locked up. It's not like we can see each other, holler at each other until he get out. And this is not an internet beef. I don't want to have an internet beef with anyone. Anyone has a problem with me, we have to deal with that face to face, bro. For real. So, I'm not going to be going back and forth. However, he put this out on the internet. These dudes on this internet, these content creators now, he put this out on the internet about me. Yes, I took that personal. Yes, indeed, I took umbrage to that, as someone had said in the comments. DP took umbrage to that, indeed, because, regardless of what I am doing on the street as it relates to the Hoovers, and truth be told, as I alluded to yesterday, that's not much. Hell to the no. Regardless of that, I did plenty behind bars and on the streets before when I was active. And behind bars up until the last day that I paroled, I was representing Hoover and did well by it. My OG homies in prison were telling me, bro, you did well by us. Your whole time in here, you have no smut on you. You have no smut on your name whatsoever. We know some of the things that you've done. We know. So we appreciate you. Period. So regardless of what I'm doing on the street, I stayed down when it really counted. So to get on here on the internet and question me, and I hadn't even said anything bad about you, as people were saying in the comments, bro, damn, the big fella didn't even say nothing bad about you. He was defending them. What is this dude talking about? But yet he still wants to get at me like that because I'm not in the hood every day. Yeah, I'm not embarrassed to say that. I can get on here and say, oh, yeah, I'm in the hood. Yeah, I'm a big old killer. I ain't got nothing to prove, man. I'm not worried about all that. Hell no, I ain't in the hood every day. And ain't trying to go. And hang out and drink a bunch of beers and talk about, man, nah, man, I'm trying to figure out how to get some money and build generational wealth. That's my focus. Let's get into this, man. This is the same video yesterday, but let's break it down some with Gumby having this conversation on the phone. Now, again, let me say, I'm not attacking this individual as of yet, Gumby. I don't want to go back and forth on the internet and attack him like this. It'll probably be my last video on this, especially because he's locked up, like I said. Unless he calls in again and starts talking crazy, then as I said in my earlier video, I'm going to have to do some exposing there at that point. Fuck it. The gloves are going to come off. But I don't want to do this on the internet. So I have to be careful with that as well. I'm not an internet dude. I'm not an internet beef dude. I am an internet dude. I'm a content creator. I'm not one of these dudes, oh, I'm a gangster. I ain't an internet dude. Nah, bro. I'm a YouTuber. I get my ass up every morning, work out, get in the shower, and start creating content, like as if I'm going to work. I get up every day like I'm going to work. I got a routine. Work out, shower, iron my shirts, iron my clothes, and get to it. So I'm a YouTuber, bro. I'm a content creator. I'm not a killer. But don't push me.
Yeah, man, it's just, they talking about motherfucker had a get down and they got a whole camera and it ain't no get down. And this just some bullshit, bro. That's how they raised the bill. This just some bullshit, literally. Like they talking about it was a get down and there wasn't even no get down. You can see clearly that nobody had a get down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's pretty much all it is right there. But I was gonna say, check this out. Check this out. First and foremost, PC and my name never go together, nigga. Remember, understand something. I am the aggressor in all situations, nigga. They got me in high power right now for you scary nigga safety, nigga. Ain't nobody from who want to do nothing to me, nigga. You got me fucked up, nigga. First and foremost, and Mr. Wack, tell everybody how you paid my...
Now, for right now, I'm going to go ahead and let that comment go. That PC and his name doesn't go together. Nobody from Hoover was going to do anything to him and all of that. As I said before, as many of you know, I was in prison when that incident transpired between him and the OG homie Big Diablo, Big Devil from 5'9" Hoover. Rest in peace, a real gorilla, a real beast, a real well-loved and respected individual. Man, man, I'm ready to go over that story again as exactly to what had happened with that. But as I said, maintain myself and maintain my discipline at this point. It's not about going back and forth. It's not even about attacking Hoover Gumby, even though he attacked me. Not on the internet anyway. Damn all that. But I'm going to respond on the internet because he said this on the internet. Had he said it to my face, then I would have brought it to the internet. He didn't say it to my face. He said it to the internet. He was just out on the street. And if you ain't been seeing me in the hood, you know how to get a hold of me. I'm in contact with plenty of homies. Could have got in contact with me easy. Got my phone number. I know plenty of people that got your phone number. People that have mine. And said, bro, I got a problem with what you said. Or I got a problem with this. We could have handled it like that. That's not what you did, though. You waited till you went to jail and said some stuff on the internet. Or I guess I did the video since he was in jail, the one I reacted to, but all I did was react to the video, as I said, that Wack100 did. I didn't say anything bad in that video, bro, period. And he said that I always have something bad to say with it. So he's been feeling like this. So you could have called me and said, bro, come to the hood. Or whatever. Because while you saying that I'm not in the hood, or I haven't been to the hood, it's not because I can't. It's different. It's a difference between not going to the hood and you can't go to your hood. I can go to my damn hood any damn time I want to. I done did too much for somebody to tell me I can't be over there. I done gave my life for this shit. What do you mean I can't be over here? For sure, you just got to take me out there. What the hell are you talking about? The fuck? Hell no. Hell no. So there's a difference between not going to your hood and cannot go to your hood. I'm not over there by choice, not by force.
Monster. Dale Morrison, you paid Monster to go tell on Big U to get him out the way. When I touch down, I have the conversations in my phone between me and Monster. Yes, this is how Wack is even out of jail. This is why he's scared that Big U is going to go to trial, because his whole ass is the reason Big U is really in jail. He paid Dale Morrison, which is Monster, to tell on Big U. The craziest shit is that Big U is in jail for robbing a dispensary. That's part of the indictment with Dale Morrison. Thank God. God take care of babies and fools, right? See, because that was my lick first. Dale called me on the phone and brought me up there on somewhere downtown to this big-ass warehouse full of weed, this, that, and other. You know what I'm saying? I heard this little spill. Me, first thing I'm going to go put it down. Round up all the crew, everything. Called a nigga back the next morning. He said, oh, man, Big U, you know what I'm saying? He already in on it with me. Bam. Big U done already hit the lick. Coldest shit ever. Look what happened. This motherfucker, Dale Morrison, was a federal informant this whole time.
Damn. Big U had already hit the lick. So he said that, I believe he said he is saying the word or the name Daryl Morrison. Is that what he's saying? Also known as Monster. I don't know who this individual is he's talking about or where he's from or whatever, but Daryl Morrison, a.k.a. Monster, is a federal informant. And he had hit up Gumby, so Gumby's in contact with this federal informant, whoever this individual is, a Monster, Daryl Morrison. Gumby knows him apparently. They're cool or whatever, cool enough to where Daryl Morrison calls Gumby up for a lick on a weed dispensary, according to Gumby. I'm only repeating what he's saying right here. I didn't put this out there. He did. He's saying all of this on the internet and on the phone on the internet. So he calls him up for a lick for a weed dispensary. As you just heard, Gumby said he rounded up the crew and he was ready to go. He called him up the next morning. He got the crew ready. He called Daryl Morrison up the next morning. What's up? Let's go. It's on. Let's go. I got my boys ready. Let's go. We got the blammers. We got the hammers. Let's go. Let's go get the bag. Let's go get the money. Let's go get that Mary Jane, that Snoop Dogg, and whatever money they got, and turn that Mary Jane, that Snoop Dogg into some money. Let's go. Damn, you just had $10 million. Worried about robbing a weed store? But okay. He didn't round up the crew. Daryl Morrison, he says, told him that next morning, oh, that's all right. It's too late. Big U did it. I put Big U on to it, and he did it. Basically, he was probably mad about that, Gumby, upset, because he's laughing about it now, saying, look, God protects fools and beggars. Look, that basically could have been me, because he's saying, he's justifying, I guess, making these comments on here because he's saying it's part of the federal indictment. It's part of the RICO. This is what Big U was locked up for. Yes, but he's not been found guilty of this. He hasn't been found guilty of anything. So you're basically confirming right now on the phone, on a recorded call, that Big U hit this lick. At least according to Daryl Morrison, according to what Daryl Morrison told you, according to what you believe. And so it's like you're helping to convict Big U in a sense, because he has not been convicted yet. And you're helping to convict yourself or build a RICO on yourself or a conspiracy charge against yourself by talking like this. But these dudes on this internet, they want to be so big and tough. They want to be tookie so bad. They want to be, famous gangbangers. They don't have any talent. They don't want to be famous for whatever their talent may be. They want to be famous just for being gang members. They get on the internet and say certain stuff, trying to go viral, do certain stuff, trying to go viral. And it's all based on the fact that they're tough gang members. This is what they have to offer. What the hell? How does this make any sense? But this is what the internet has devolved into somewhat. And for right now, it goes through its phases. Soon all of this sort of stuff will be phased out. You're going to have to rely on your talent, if you have any, to continue to work. That's just what it is. You're going to have to improve yourself like I'm trying to do every day to continue to grow and work. You're going to have to work at your craft, at your content, and not just be going viral, trying to go viral for saying something crazy, being a shock jock, and being a tough gang member. Who gives a damn? Get out of here with that nonsense. But you're so hell-bent on that, you want to be tough so bad, you want to be known and be viral, so worried about what's going on YouTube. Gumby's in here fighting for it. I don't know what he's talking about, what he's telling y'all. He in here fighting for his life. The charges tell me that by itself. These are some very serious charges. Charges that people don't like tolerating in prison, by the way. Aggravated stalking, domestic violence with a weapon, and all of this stuff, allegedly. Well, hell, showed the charges. You had the world believe that you're coming home tomorrow. Okay, you've been saying that. I don't see you out here, man, because there's some serious stuff. It's not a game. This is serious. Gumby had life in prison, as many of you know. He had life in prison for a murder, for a deletion. And he beat it. He beat the life. They overturned his case. He's supposed to be in prison for the rest of his life. Like I'm still supposed to be in prison right now, supposed to be in there. And then he was fighting another life case because he caught another murder, as we all know, while he was in there. Against another Hoover, nonetheless. And he beat that case. Talk about being blessed upon blessed upon blessed. You could have double life in there, life for each one. Instead, you have no life. You've been home for years. 2015 or something, he came home. 11 years ago. He was out, I believe, that whole time until this incident right here. He'd been out that whole time, not back and forth for 2 or 3 months here and all that. Out the whole time, 10 years. I believe. I'm pretty sure. But now he's back in there, whatever. You're only as good as your last shot. So, what happened in the last 10 years means nothing. It means nothing to the court system, means nothing to the prosecutor. It means nothing to Gumby right now as he sits in that cell, that he was out for 10 years. You can't live off of those memories forever. Right now, this is your reality and this is your situation. That's all bad. Damn, what happened 10 years ago. That's all bad. You got to stay free. You got to stay free forever. Fuck, he ain't trying to be up in there. That's why he calling and going through it. Going crazy on everybody. So, but anyway, let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. I mean, he's making these comments. I'm not trying to say Gumby's a snitch. As I said, I'm not trying to, come at him like that, even though he got at me foul. Attack him like that. As of yet, particularly not on the internet, as I said. He going through a situation right now. I don't know what he's thinking, what y'all thinking. He going through some shit right. He needs to be focused on that and worried about that. Don't be worried about what's going on YouTube. So what else is going on? Who else said what? What else is going on these weird YouTube streets? Damn. He talking about in the same video that I played for y'all yesterday. I'm popping, I'm cracking so much that I'm in jail, and I'm still the number one topic on YouTube. Everybody talking about me, bro. Everybody is not talking about you. A couple of people did a video when you went to jail, including myself. Ain't heard too much else since then until you made a phone call and called in, somebody. There's nothing else to really talk about. Get yourself out of the situation, bro. Stop thinking the whole world revolves around you and all of the YouTube streets and what do you have to say to your fans? Your fans. Bro, focus on getting out with these weird charges you got. Aggravated stuff. That's weird shit. Weird ass charges, bro. Worry about that. Aggravated stalking? Stalking females and shit? What the hell? Now, baby mama or not, what the hell? Now, worry about that. I don't know that the man is guilty. I hope not. That's some weird shit. Domestic violence. Stalking a female, then beating on her. I hope not. That's not a good look. To be an abuser. That's all bad. That's not gangster. And he said in one of the other phone calls, if I do that to a B, what y'all think I do to y'all? What y'all ninjas think I do to y'all if I'll do that to a B? Y'all saying I did this. If I did that, if you did that to her, what do I think you'll do to me is nothing.
Wack100. I swear to God, I'm not lying, y'all. Listen, I know Dale Morrison, I know Wack, I know all these dudes because we used to do concerts. Remember, I used to have a little money back in the day a little while ago. Dale Morrison always been a snitch. Dale Morrison had his own case for pimping and pandering on minors. Dale Morrison been working for the feds the whole time he was out. That's monster. Ask anybody. How is Dale Morrison, which is
so he's always been a snitch. Just throwing everybody under the bus. He had something with a minor. You know all of this? So he had SA or whatever against a minor, or some kind of abuse against a minor, and he's an FBI agent, undercover. He's always been that. How long have you been? Have you always known that? Like he's always been that? Have you always known that, Gumby? When were you going to let us know? that this dude's a rat. When were you going to let us know that Wack100 paid him to tell on Big U, to get Big U out of the way, as he says here? When were you going to let us know this? This is information that the streets need to know. Only when you get locked up and get upset, now everybody's a snitch, everybody's a rat. He talks about Big Deal from Fadu's Hoover in here, says he dropped his flag in prison, so he can't say nothing, he's not a gang member. He didn't say that on the street. Big Deal made a video, told him to keep Fadu's Hoover out of his mouth, that he don't speak for Fadu's Hoover. He ain't say nothing like that. He's saying all this now that he's locked up. Now Big Deal dropped his flag and can't say nothing. Back on Fig, he said something about them, was saying something about Back on Fig when he was out before, early on, because they didn't invite him on the channel, on their channel that they worked hard for. So they're not from Hoover. Everybody that beats with him is not from Hoover. Everybody that has a problem with him, let him tell it, is not from Hoover. Can't be from Hoover. You got a problem with him. No, maybe it's you that's not from Hoover. Really, in your heart and soul, bro. You did kill one after all. I mean, I do know what happened there. I'm just saying. Real Tune TV asked you when you were out, how come you're beefing with all the Hoovers? Seems like you beef with nothing but Hoovers on the internet. Everybody from Hoover beefing with me ain't from Hoover. Everybody ain't from Hoover that beef with Gumby. Only big old Hoover Gumby is big old Hoover Gumby. King Hoover, the face of the Hoovers. You're not the face of the Hoovers, bro. I know what's going on while you're on here popping it. And like I said, you're going through some stuff, so I'm trying to give you a break right now. But don't push me. Don't push me, big dog.
Monster, Wack nephew. Because Wack paid Dale Morrison to tell on Big U, to get Big U out the way. This is what this whole situation is about. That whole lick that he was finished, that they robbed Dale Morrison for, thank God I didn't.
So basically, you saying that Wack put Dale Morrison on Big U.
Listen,
I thought Big U.
To get him out the way. Listen, Big U was trying to Big U was allegedly trying to do something to Wack. Right? They got it in the paperwork where he was crying, Wack, don't kill me. Don't kill me, Big U. My family here. All of that was because he was trying to get Wack out the way, I guess.
Damn. So now Big U was going to kill Wack. That's what he just said. Big U was trying to get Wack out of the way. And he says he's justifying making these statements because he's saying that it's in the paperwork. He just said that, it's in the paperwork, it's in the indictment. That Wack100 was yelling to Big U. Wack didn't mention this on the phone last night, but I didn't think to talk about this or mention this, but according to what Gumby is saying, in some paperwork, there is a situation where Big U was trying to get Wack100 out of the way. Apparently went to his home with weapons or something because he said that Wack100 was yelling, man, don't kill me. My family right here. My wife is right here and all that. Damn. Has Big U been convicted of this? Is he charged with this? I didn't know about that. I didn't know he was charged with breaking into Wack100's home and drawing a weapon on him and threatening to kill him. I didn't know that was part of the indictment. I never heard Wack say, but I really don't know. Maybe I'm behind on some of this stuff. Seriously, I really don't know. But damn, even if so, it's probably not something that you should be saying on the phone, on a recorded phone conversation. King Hoover. Certainly you understand that. Certainly you know the politics and the rules. If you got crews that you can round up, individuals that follow you, that you have influence upon, certainly you're conveying what the politics are to them and the protocols and the righteous ones and the righteous way to comport yourself as a member And this is not on that list. Having these conversations on a recorded call. I've never read that in the rule book. I've read the same rule book as this individual here. I've never ran across that one. But again, maybe I'm behind. I've been locked up a long time. I've been out now, though. I'm out now, though, and I'm not going back. Unlike these idiots. You know, yeah, I'm cool. I don't stalk women. They might stalk me, but I don't stalk them.
And Wack ended up getting him out the way with the feds, bro. Dale Morrison is right now is still in Wack's phone. They still in communication with each other. This is what led to the indictment. It was never an indictment on Big U until he paid Dale Morrison Monster to tell on Big U. Big U was sitting in jail because Wack had to get him out the way in order for him to so-called run L.A. And now what do? He got every snitch in his phone. Everybody that's doing some wrong shit against real niggas, Wack got him in his phone. Like, I've been saying this man is the police. I've been telling everybody this. Dale Morrison only told on Big U because Wack paid him. Dale Morrison is monster. He out right now. They out right now fraternizing together, looking for another way. And it's crazy to me how anybody that Wack get into it with, right, they end up in jail.
And just for the record, Wack100, in his phone conversation last night, in our phone conversation last night, he denies that he paid Daryl Morrison anything to get rid of Big U. Again, he did not mention whether or not Big U ran into his home, as Gumby is inferring here, with weapons in tow, and that he had to beg and plead for his life because his family was there. I believe he said his wife and his kids, that Wack was yelling and screaming and hollering at Big U not to delete him because his family was there, and not to delete his family. These are not conversations that you should be having on the phone. And so I just wanted to play again briefly, what he had to say about this Daryl Morrison individual as it relates to Wack100, and that he paid him to have Big U arrested, and also what Gumby had to say about this weed store dispensary lick and etc. Even though Big U has not been convicted, these dudes are just going off of the handle on this internet with no morals, with no ethics, and speaking about all sorts of stuff in an effort to stay relevant or to be relevant or to get relevant, to be talked about or whatever, and end up saying some stuff and exposing some stuff that you shouldn't be talking about and saying or exposing. As a certified individual, as a gangster, as a stomp down, 10 toes down, stand-up individual that you purport yourself to be, as does others here on the internet that are saying many things that they should not be saying. Yes, I talk about some of this stuff, talk about gang culture and all of that, but I don't talk about open cases. Go back. No. Go back. I'm controlled. I may have said some things I shouldn't have said because I'm imperfect. But hell, I still haven't done a video on a Big U indictment. Never did one. When that shit happened, everybody and their mama did a video on it. I never did because it was an open case. It's an open indictment. The Hoover indictment, never did a video on it because they still fighting the case. Crazy. Even though they're still fighting the case, even though Big U is fighting for his life, people on the phone talking about a robbery that he committed with an informant. He hasn't been convicted of anything yet. It's just wild work to me. Like I said, I'm not going to be going back and forth with this individual, particularly because he's in jail. But even if he was out, damn all that, I am saying what I'm saying, or I am playing some of this stuff because of what he said about me. Yes. He could have called me up and and hollered at me if he wanted to talk to me. But since he wanted to put it on the internet, then I'm going to respond on the internet, bro. I'm not going to let nobody get on here talk crazy to me. But we ain't got to play no internet games. You know what I'm saying? Feel me? You know, at all. That's damn the internet. Feel me? Holla at me face to face. That's how I like to do my business. Face to face, boy. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. You know, again, I'm not saying Gumby is a snitch, but I'm saying he shouldn't have been saying that stuff on the phone, even about himself, that he was about to do this, that he about to round up a crew. That's what these Ricos are about. This shot caller stuff. So you got a whole crew that you can round up to go with weapons and commit a crime. You sitting here on the phone talking about this. It's crazy, man. I never in my life, I've never had a conversation like this on the phone while I was in jail. No. They can play this in court, even without charging him with anything. They can still tell a judge, look, Your Honor, this kind of life he's out here living. And that should not have anything to do with the case that he's in there on, but it will. That's just how the system is. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. Wild work. Stay safe and stay free, people.